Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's video. So for today's topic, we're going to be talking about the importance of having advocacy for underrepresented communities in theater. And I want to start off this video by addressing the fact that there are underrepresented people in the arts and that these underrepresented individuals do need our advocacy and they do need to be seen. They do need to be seen not just because they are Americans, but also because they are human. And one point of view that we are going to discuss today on this is that theater is supposed to help us understand people, all types of people, and it's supposed to help us increase our empathy that we have for each and every different type of person. And this point was brought up in an interview conducted by Alison Considine in her article, "Theater Artists with Disabilities Are Ready, Willing, and Yes, Able." And she conducted this interview with a man named Michael Patrick Thornton. He is a disabled man in a wheelchair, and he is also the actor and artistic director at Gift Theater in Chicago. And he brought up this point about understanding different types of people in theater and creating empathy for them. And I was really glad he brought up that point because I think it's not genuine empathy if disabled characters in plays aren't played by actually disabled people. And this has happened before where disabled characters in plays are played by people who are not disabled, which has sort of bothered me in a sense that they essentially discarded people who have actual disabilities. And the problem is that we have the stories. I mean, the problem's not about having stories of disabled people because we have plays that star disabled people, that feature disabled people. But the thing is, we just need to add the people from the disabled community into these stories, and we need to put them into the cast. And Alison Considine also continues to write that over the course of 2 seasons, Broadway put on 7 productions featuring disabled people and featuring disabled roles that disabled people could have played. But there were no disabled people in any of these roles that Broadway put on. But thankfully, Deaf West Theater was able to take one step in the right direction with this problem by putting on a show called Spring Awakening. And this production brought together both the deaf and the hearing people into one show. And I love how the show puts a bridge in between these two communities and essentially brought them together because it brought together both the hearing and the deaf community into one performance, and they also used American Sign Language to communicate together. They found a way to put American Sign Language into the script, which I thought was one of the greatest ways you could bring the disabled community with the well-enabled community into one performance. So what is the next step with including these disabled people into our performances? Well, Howard Sherman, who is a senior strategy consultant for Alliance for Inclusion in the Arts, said in an interview with Alison that one of the first steps is to represent the stories that are told and represent them as Americans and humans, and also to include the disabled community into telling these stories and make sure they have a say. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy holidays.